open the map app on your phone right now, just, think about how easy it is to find your exact coordinates in 2 dimensions.
Oh, yeah. You just type in a coffee shop, and the GPS triangulates your position instantly.
Right, you get that little red pin on a flat street grid,
Oh!
and a comforting sort of robotic voice tells you exactly how many feet away your destination is.
It is very definitive, very straightforward.
It is, but what if you wanted to drop a pin on the exact mathematical location of the divine?
Well, you would quickly realize that a standard street grid just isn't going to cut it. I mean, the architecture required to map something like that completely shatters our conventional understanding of space.
And geometry, right?
Yeah, geometry and, honestly, our own significance in the universe.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are exploring a cosmology that claims to have found those exact divine coordinates.
It is a really fascinating one, too.
Oh, absolutely. Our source today is an essay written back in August 2011 by an author named Suofeng. It was translated by Trans and edited by Kair. And it asks a boldly direct question right in its title.
Which is, where is and how do we revere the greatest creator?
Yes. And what makes this so interesting is that it avoids the typical, vague spiritual platitudes you might expect from a title like that.
Right. Instead, the author presents this highly specific, mathematically rigorous structural landscape. They are really attempting to anchor the divine in a tangible, quantifiable reality.
So our mission today is to decode this mind-bending cosmic architecture and figure out how the author translates an unreachable mathematical coordinate into a framework for your everyday human behavior.
It is a wild ride.
It really is. Okay, let's unpack this. Because to find this coordinate, we have to start with the sheer scale of the container we are looking inside.
Yeah, and the author weaponizes scale right from the jump. It is designed to induce a profound sense of humility.
Tiny.
To understand where the creator is, you first have to comprehend how infinitesimally small our reality actually is.
Which is hard for the human ego to accept.
Exactly. So the text lays out a structure that resembles a cosmic Russian nesting doll. According to the essay, our Earth universe alone contains 3,000 great worlds.
Wow.
And inside each of those great worlds are 3,000 medium worlds. And then inside each of those are 3,000 small worlds.
So we are talking about millions of worlds just neatly nested inside one another.
Millions. But here's the perspective shift. Even with all of those millions of worlds, the author explicitly states that our entire Earth universe is nothing more than a speck of dust in the broader cosmos.
A speck of dust containing millions of nested worlds. I mean, it really makes you feel microscopic.
Right.
But the author doesn't just expand the physical volume of the universe, they expand the actual dimensional fabric of it.
Yes. The text describes this greater universe as operating with 20 parallel worlds that exist within a 36-dimensional space.
36 dimensions. I mean, we as humans can barely comprehend 4. We navigate in 3 dimensions, we move forward in time as the 4th, and our brains essentially just tap out after that.
Right. The idea of 36 interacting planes of reality requires you to completely surrender your human intuition.
Which is probably why the author uses such staggering mathematics. It sets the stage for a divine entity that operates on a level of structural complexity we literally cannot perceive.
Exactly. But within that incomprehensible 36-dimensional space, the author makes a highly specific claim about the location of the divine.
Right, the pinpoint.
Yes. The text argues that the physical matter of the greatest creator resides in something called the zero world.
And the text defines the zero world literally as a node. Like, it is the geometric 0 point of an XYZ number axis that connects all 20 of these parallel worlds.
The ultimate absolute coordinate,
And-
0, 0, 0.
Right. And placing the physical matter of the creator at an absolute mathematical origin point is such a brilliant rhetorical move.
What's fascinating here is how it anchors the divine. It might be utterly unreachable for us on our little speck of dust, but it gives the creator a permanent structural address in the architecture of existence.
Like a literal home base.
Exactly. The text actually compares this 0 point to the command center of the universe. It functions a lot like how a central nervous system and a brain operate a human body.
Thinking about this, my mind immediately goes to 3D rendering software.
Oh, like a video game engine.
Yeah, exactly, like a massive video game engine. If you've ever looked at the interface for 3D modeling, you have this infinite empty grid. But the entire reality of that digital world is anchored to one single point, the absolute origin.
0 on the X, 0 on the Y, 0 on the Z.
Yes. Every polygon, every lighting effect, every physics simulation is mathematically tethered to that absolute node. It is the source code running everything.
That analogy holds up beautifully against the author's framework, actually.
Hmm.
The zero world is the source code generating those 36 dimensions.
But, okay, if the universe operates like this unfeeling automated software engine at the 0 point, there has to be a mechanism for that state to send down its laws to our speck of dust.
Right, the logistical problem.
Yeah. Like, how does a fixed mathematical node at coordinate 0, 0, 0 possess consciousness, let alone interact with a 3D world?
Well, the author anticipates that exact logical hurdle.
Mm.
The text makes a strict, really critical distinction between the matter of the creator and the spirit of the creator.
Okay.
The matter is locked away at that unreachable mathematical node,
Mm.
but the spirit, or the consciousness of the creator, is distributed everywhere.
Ah. And the author names this distributed consciousness Tao.
Right. The text states that everything in the universe is a manifestation of this consciousness. All things run in the Tao and are ultimately dominated by it.
So it's everywhere.
Everywhere. The logical conclusion the author draws here is that because absolutely everything operates within this framework, all things have spirit.
So the physical body is isolated, but the influence is omnipresent.
Exactly. And the author provides a very grounded analogy to explain this. They compare this dynamic to constitutional law.
Okay, how so?
Well, a nation's constitution is essentially the embodiment of the collective consciousness of its people. Right? Now, a constitution doesn't have a physical body.
No, it's just a document.
Right. It doesn't walk down the street to make sure you're following the speed limit. Yet its spirit, its structural authority, dictates everything from how your town is zoned to how you pay your taxes.
Oh, that makes sense.
The Tao operates the exact same way. It is the constitutional spirit of the greatest creator.
Well, that makes the abstract math suddenly feel very administrative.
It does. And to drive that administrative point home, the author uses a very specific, highly localized analogy aimed at their 2011 audience.
Right, the political analogy.
Yes. The text explicitly compares the structure of the greatest creator to the former Chinese president Hu Jintao.
I remember reading that part and literally doing a double take.
It's an undeniably striking comparison. And we should be clear, we are just impartially reporting this as a tool the author used to explain the concept. We aren't endorsing or critiquing the political regime here.
Right, just looking at the mechanics of the analogy.
Exactly. The author writes that just as Hu Jintao's physical body was located in Zongnanhai in Beijing, his administrative reach and influence extended throughout all of China.
So a localized physical presence, but a widespread administrative influence.
Precisely. The creator's physical matter is similarly isolated in the zero world, but its spirit extends into every atom of all things. It's just a fascinating way to explain a cosmological concept.
It definitely grounds 36-dimensional quantum geometry in real-world bureaucracy.
It does.
But here's where it gets really interesting. I have to push back on this framing a bit.
Okay, go for it.
When you look at most spiritual texts, the divine is described in mystical, almost poetic terms, like an ethereal light, an all-encompassing love, some warm energy. But this author describes the cosmos like a flawlessly organized, top-down administrative state. We have a central command node. We have a governing constitutional law. We have an executive presence radiating outward.
You feel like it drains the magic out of things.
Yeah. It drains the magic out of the universe and replaces it with pure bureaucracy.
Well, viewing the cosmos as a flawless bureaucracy reveals a worldview that is entirely devoid of chaos. In this framework, there are no accidents.
Just order.
There is only order.
Oh, sure.
And if the universe is an administrative state running perfectly on the Tao, then there must be rules, feedback loops, and communication channels.
Which brings up the most pressing logistical question. If the creator's physical matter is locked away at coordinate 0, 0, 0, and we are stuck millions of worlds away on a speck of dust, how do we actually receive memos from this 36-dimensional bureaucracy?
Right. How do we get the message?
Exactly. How does the 0 point communicate with us?
Well, the author's answer requires us to completely rethink the nature of communication. Because we can never travel to the zero world to see the creator's face or hear a literal voice, the text states we must understand the creator's will through our physical senses.
Like what we see and hear.
Through what we hear, see, taste, smell, touch, and feel.
Mm-hmm.
But the critical mechanism for that communication is change.
Change as a language.
Yes. The essay refers to this as the monologue of the creator. The physical environment around us is the discourse, but the changes within that environment are the monologue of the creator speaking directly to us.
So no words.
No words. The creator uses environmental, physiological, and societal shifts to issue directives.
So friction or disruption in our daily routine isn't just bad luck, it's an alert message from the 0 point.
Exactly. Think about the device you're listening to this deep dive on right now. According to this text, the physical matter of that phone, the room you were sitting in, your own body, it is all infused with the Tao.
It is all part of the communication network.
It is. And the author provides examples of these alerts, and they escalate pretty quickly. They are deeply systemic.
Give me an example.
The text begins on an individual level. It argues that if you are a healthy person and you suddenly develop a headache, you shouldn't view that merely as random biological pain.
What is it then?
That headache is a direct message from the creator's consciousness, indicating you are overstressed or perhaps your blood pressure is high. It is a mandate to change your daily diet and lifestyle.
Okay, so a headache is a check engine light from the cosmos saying, drink some water, get some sleep.
Basically, yes.
That is incredibly reasonable. I can easily accept the idea of listening to my body's warning signals, but the author does not stop at personal physiology, do they?
Not at all. They scale this mechanism up to the entire planet. The text moves to environmental phenomena. When droughts, floods, plagues, earthquakes, and extreme temperatures become frequent, the author states this is the creator clearly informing humanity that our production methods and lifestyle are fundamentally wrong.
Okay, so a catastrophic flood is essentially the Earth's version of a headache. The system is trying to correct an imbalance.
Right. It is a warning that we must change our collective behavior or face even greater catastrophes.
Again, looking at climate science, there's a certain logical rhythm to that argument, but the escalation continues, doesn't it, into human sociology and politics?
It does. The essay states that if a country or region experiences frequent riots and hunger, it indicates a severe problem with the management of that area.
So it's not just a policy failure.
No, it's a divine warning that the management mode must be changed, or it will trigger vicious cycles, inevitably leading to the overthrow of the regime.
So political instability is a divine indicator that the current survival order is fundamentally flawed. That is a massive weight to place on human governance.
It is. But the author saves the most radical escalation for our most intimate human structures.
Oh, boy.
The text brings this logic straight into the living room, stating that frequent family quarrels mean the survival order of the family is wrong, and it is time to dissolve it.
Okay, I have to stop here and challenge this. This is an astronomical leap.
Well, the author goes even further.
Seriously?
Yeah, the text explicitly argues that if this phenomenon of frequent family quarrels were to occur globally, it would mean the entire survival mode and lifestyle of the family system itself is wrong. Therefore, the global family system would need to be completely broken up.
What?
Otherwise, people's pain would never end and would lead to self-destruction.
Okay, wait. Going from you have a headache, maybe adjust your diet, to families are arguing globally, so we must dismantle the fundamental human institution of the family is staggering.
It is a massive escalation.
It implies that every human inconvenience or point of friction is a high-stakes divine mandate to radically alter the foundation of our lives. Am I really supposed to believe that arguing with a sibling over dinner is a cosmic error message from a 36-dimensional command center telling me to dissolve my family?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, let's bring back your 3D rendering engine analogy to understand the author's logic here.
Okay, let's do it.
In a flawlessly coded software program, there is no such thing as a trivial error, right? A single line of corrupted code might seem small, but it threatens the stability of the entire engine.
True.
Within the framework the author has built, the Tao permeates absolutely everything. Therefore, a headache, an earthquake, a riot, and a family argument are all mathematically equivalent in the zero world.
Oh, wow. I see.
They're all corrupted lines of code. They're all deviations from the optimal state of the Tao.
So the severity of the system's immune response just scales with the size of the deviation.
Precisely. If an individual has a headache, you reboot the individual's diet. If a family quarrels frequently, that unit of code is corrupted and must be deleted for the health of the broader system.
And if the global family system is generating fiction, the entire subroutine must be wiped.
Exactly. The command center does not tolerate systemic friction.
That reframes everything. We are constantly receiving these high-stakes systemic error messages. Which brings us back to the core question posed by the essay's title.
How do we revere the greatest creator?
Right. If the universe is this mathematically sensitive and every point of friction is a potential system failure, What does reverence practically look like on our little speck of dust?
Well, the author brings the concept of reference down to the most granular, immediate level of human perception. The text claims that as long as we open our spiritual perception, the Creator can be seen everywhere and at any time.
So the distant mathematics suddenly become incredibly intimate.
Very intimate.
The imagery the author uses in this section is actually quite beautiful. It provides a sharp, poetic contrast to the cold geometry of the 0 point.
Yeah, they write about seeing the Creator in changing weather, blooming flowers, and mature fruits.
In the moving of a bee's nest, in the bellies of pregnant women, in wedding nights, gurgling water, and even the texture of shells.
By listing these incredibly tangible earthly things, the author is bridging the massive gap between the unreachable 36-dimensional node and our immediate physical reality.
The command center might be distant, but its broadcast is playing on every single channel.
In every single atom around us. And because that broadcast is everywhere, the author is able to deliver the ultimate unifying thesis of the entire essay.
Which is?
Revering all things is revering the greatest creator.
So what does this all mean? It functions as a transitive property of reverence, basically.
Exactly. If A equals B and you respect A, you are inherently respecting B.
Because all things possess the constitutional spirit of the Creator, how you treat the matter directly in front of you is exactly how you treat the Creator at the absolute 0 point.
The text puts it so plainly, and it carries such weight. The author says, when I am faced with a stem of grass, an insect, a thing, or a person, I can see the greatest creator looking right back at me through it, or him or her.
Which fundamentally alters the nature and consequence of every single interaction you have. It turns the entire universe into a cosmic hall of mirrors.
It really does.
Think about what this means for you walking down the street tomorrow. Everywhere you look, every reflection is the Creator looking back at you, quietly assessing your level of kindness and sincerity.
No pressure.
Right. It elevates the most mundane throwaway moments, like deciding whether to step around a bug on the sidewalk or admire a stem of grass, into a literal life or death, heaven or hell moral test.
And according to the author, the stakes of that moral test are absolute.
Really?
The text lays out the ultimate karmic consequences of this worldview. It states quite clearly, if I react correctly, I will go to heaven. But if I react incorrectly, I will go to hell.
Wow. So the author finds a very concrete, inescapable law in this interaction.
Yes. If a person shows their sincere, kind, beautiful, loving, faithful, and honest consciousness to all things, they will develop toward betterment and achieve heaven.
But if they react with ugliness or cruelty to the mundane world,
they secure a path to hell. It is a deeply fascinating conclusion because it completely democratizes the concept of spiritual success.
How do you mean?
Well, you do not need to perform complex esoteric rituals. You do not need to mathematically calculate your way through 20 parallel worlds to find the 0 node in 36 dimensions.
Right, you don't need a map app for heaven.
Exactly. Your spiritual fate is not determined by accessing the command center. It is entirely determined by your disposition toward the ordinary things right in front of you.
The author ends the essay with an incredible amount of certainty, too. They state that readers can decide for themselves whether this conclusion is true or not, but they add one final sentence.
I do not believe that you will come up with any other conclusion.
Yeah. It's a confident, drop-the-mic moment.
And the confidence is earned by the internal logic of the essay. Once you accept the foundational premise that the Creator's spirit is fundamentally embedded in all matter, the ethical demand to treat all matter with absolute reverence logically follows.
You simply cannot separate the divine from the dirt.
Beautifully said.
We have covered a truly staggering amount of cosmic ground today. I mean, we started this journey trying to figure out how to drop a pin on a map.
And we ended up navigating through an unimaginably vast architecture. Millions of nested worlds, 36 dimensions, 20 parallel realities.
All anchored to an unreachable, absolute, zero-coordinate functioning as the universe's command center.
We explored how the consciousness of that center, the Tao, acts like a pervasive constitutional law, organizing every speck of matter in existence.
We decoded the monologue of the universe. We learned how the Creator communicates purely through change, sending us physical and societal error messages that range from a simple headache to a mandate to dissolve the global family system.
Which is still a huge leap, but logically tracks in this system.
Yeah, it tracks. And ultimately, we arrived at the intense moral weight of how we treat a single blade of grass, knowing that the source code of the universe is looking right back at us through it.
It is a profound journey, taking you from the cold abstraction of quantum geometry down to the warm, concrete reality of everyday human kindness.
So, to you listening right now, we encourage you to take this framework and apply it to your own life this week.
Yeah, look at the disruptions, the frictions, the headaches.
Right, whether they are literal physical aches, a sudden stressor at your job, a snag in a relationship, or just an unexpected change in your environment.
Could you view these not just as random, annoying bad luck, but as a monologue?
Is the system prompting a necessary pivot? Is your 36-dimensional command center sending you an error message asking you to realign your code?
Using that lens transforms daily annoyance into a profound opportunity for alignment. It asks you to participate actively in the maintenance of your reality.
But before we let you go, there's one final lingering thought that has been sitting with me.
Ooh, what is that?
Something that isn't explicitly spelled out in the text, but it builds directly on the mathematical logic the author established.
Okay, I'm listening.
Well, the author states that when we look at a person, the greatest creator is looking back at us through them. We know this is because they possess the spirit, the Tao, of the creator.
Right, the fundamental rule, all things have spirit.
But if you, the listener, possess the spirit of the creator, and the person you are looking at also possesses the exact same spirit of the creator,
Oh, wow.
then aren't human interactions really just two fragmented pieces of the creator's own consciousness, bumping into each other on a speck of dust, trying to figure out how to talk to each other?
That is a completely dizzying perspective.
Think about the implications. You are standing in this 36-dimensional cosmic hall of mirrors. You are looking at someone knowing the creator is testing your reaction to them, but they are looking right back at you, knowing the creator is testing their reaction to you.
Both of you are fragments of the exact same origin point, running the exact same constitutional law.
Exactly. So if we are all just the 0 point experiencing itself from a distance, who is actually testing whom?
That realization changes the map entirely.
It really does. Next time you open an app trying to find your location in this universe, remember the coordinate you are looking for might just be looking right back at you.